Hi, hey Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. I want to talk about the gripper again. Sorry, I know I sound like, oh my God, he just won't get off of this. But I've been playing with it for the last few days. And if you remember the last time I had my brad nail gripper that I made, where I kept the brad nails in line with where the legs are, I didn't like it. Honestly, I thought, ugh. But I like the feel of it. It still inherently is the same as my other grippers I've been using for a year and a half now. These are great. And they really give me good control on small pieces. But again, this is using sandpaper. And honestly, I had a lot of feedback about, you sure you should use sandpaper? I don't know if I want to use sandpaper on my $100 blade. Okay. For all you sandpaper sissies, I got a solution. And that's this. It's a silicone. And all I did was I took my brad nail gripper that I made, and I didn't like it anyway, so rather than throwing it away, I took my caulking gun out and I put a bead back and forth all the way across this till I filled it up completely with about a little over 1/4 of an inch of caulking on it. Then I took out my little sheet of silicone pad. This is for cookie sheets in the kitchen to help things from sticking to your cookie sheet. And I just put it on my table saw, took the freshly caulked stuff on there, and this is all embedded into the brad nails. You want to make sure it's thicker than the brad nails. And then when I got done, I was ready, I set it down onto the silicone pad onto a flat surface, and I pushed down on the corners to get it to ooze out on all 4 corners until I felt like I really had a good flat surface, making sure I was level all the way around. Then I walk away. Let it sit there for a couple hours. Then you pull it off of the silicone pad, stick it upside down somewhere so it's perfectly flat and doesn't move, and let it finish setting up for a week. This has been 2 days, so I can see it, and now I see what it can do, but I'm still not going to use it for a while because it really is not quite cured. I took and I shaved it off all the squeeze out, and that's when I could kind of tell that it still had some stickiness, more like it wasn't set up after I started cutting into it. So I certainly don't want to put a saw blade through this. But by making it at least a 1/4 inch thick, if you follow the rule that I always have with any gripper that I have, like these, you always want to be less than a 1/4 inch above your work on the tip of the blade so that it doesn't cut in here too far. That's the idea. Well, with the silicone one, if it's a 1/4 inch thick, you're never going to hit the wood on this thing. This thing will never wear out on you. If the caulking never goes bad, no big deal. Just to get your putty knife out, clean it all off, re-caulk it, set it down, let it sit up for a week, and you got a new pad on it. So replacing the pad will cost you pennies. It works real well. If you tear it up, it's no big deal. But I like the idea of the brad nails help anchoring the silicone. We'll see how that really works out. Do you need the brad nails? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you're going to use the brad nails, just make sure you keep them strategically located so that theoretically, as long as you follow the gripper pattern, you'll never hit the brad nail. So I'm not worried about it. I think this is actually a very good solution. And this is going to be perfect for my jointer. Over there, I use sandpaper pads. And I have to tell you, I think this will work better than the sandpaper does for that type of job. So we're going to see. Keep in mind, one of the reasons I went to sandpaper was why? Anybody? Yes, because I don't like to clean it. So you do well have to clean it. It's that simple. It's silicone, sawdust will get embedded in it, and you have to clean it. Worst case scenario, take it over to your bandsaw, start it up, and then back shave it by pulling it across the blade backwards and letting it just barely shave a little off of there. And that'll give you a nice rough surface without any problem. I can't remember if I said this already, but when I did this one, I thought I'd get clever, and I took a piece of paper towel and I laid it on there. So when I laid it down, the embossing from that paper towel actually is embedded into this. The trouble is, when I peeled it off, the paper is kind of embedded too. So I'm going to end up getting rid of it, I think. So don't use the paper towel trick, but I do like that. But I think the back shaving on the bandsaw will give you enough roughness that it'll give you good gripping power out of this. It might actually work real well, just totally smooth. I don't know. Now I can't even find out. So I could put a skim coat on here, and I may do that before I'm done. Come back and put some more on here. We'll see. But I'm going to try it like this. I suspect this thing will last virtually forever. As long as I stay in the saw and no saw zone, as long as I follow that rule, make sure I'm always in the black when I run it through. If it's going to hit the red, turn it around so that it stays in the black. And that way you'll never wear this thing out. So the next question, the last question about this is, am I going to use the buck stop on it? On this one in particular with the silicone as of right now, no. I am going to put a buck stop on these though, so that I can show you that that option will be there. So let me do that to these. In fact, let me show you real quick. I actually did it to this one here. If you remember, this one had the heel on the back here and everything, and I took the heel off, had my sandpaper surface here, and I just put my buck stop right in here. Little small one, not much, 1/4 inch deep at this end, and it tapers up to nothing, a couple 3 inches out. No big deal. I still get lots of surface, and now I can use this on flat cutting. And it really helps me get control, and when I get to the very end of the board, I can still dip it down, and now I have the push pad, the hook capability of a heel. Quick and easy from the same piece. Quick tip about this. On this, you always want to keep it up against the fence, holding down as you push through, because this thing's going to be as wide. It's going to want to cover this whole piece, and you're staying over the top of it. And the blade is going somewhere in here through it. So you're above your work on both sides of the blade, holding it. If you go to a narrow push stick like this one, which a lot of people like, instead of this wide one, it's no problem. But there's two things you want to keep in mind. Quick tip. Write this down, don't forget. But when you use it, instead of inherently keeping it straight forward and parallel to the fence and the blade, actually tip it so the front of it is pointed toward the blade a little bit. Get as much angle as you can without the back end hitting the saw blade. You don't want to tip it out so far that the blade will actually go through the bottom of this on the back end. So just tip it, and you don't need much, but what happens there is, now that my gripping power is down and my pushing power is actually pushing toward the fence instead of straight ahead, inherently this thing will help hold it against the fence. So now when I just one hand, and as I push forward, this thing stays right up against the fence the whole time. So tip it just a little bit. Now when you get to the buck stop part, after you're most of the way through and you're less than 12 inches from the end of the board to where it's cutting, then you're going to pull it back and use the buck stop. When you go to the buck stop, and again, don't put it to the fence anymore. Put it as far away from the fence as you can when you hook it. So you want to get it as close to the blade curve as you can get without hitting the blade. What happens there is then, you're then pushing this inherently against the fence. If you take this stick here, and if I push it from the right-hand corner, the side that's closest to the fence, and if I start pushing on this board back here, that board goes away from the fence. If I take it and I push from the left-hand side, now it's pushing toward the fence. So when you use this on the end, you want to stay to the outside when you hook it. So always make sure you move to the outside for that last final push using your push stick. The rest of the time, when you're up on top of it totally, then you want to just point it toward the fence a little bit and push it through. That's the way to get your best result out of a push pad with a buck stop. Whether it's a super wide one like this, you always want it parallel to the fence. But if you're using a narrow one, then just angle it toward the fence while you're using it in push pad mode. And when you go to the buck stop, get it to the outside edge as close to the blade as you can get it comfortably to finish pushing it through. At that point, that will always then hug that fence, and it will help you to inherently keep it against the fence. So, quick tip about the buck stop. It's a great little tool. You're going to start seeing it pop up on a lot of my other stuff. Don't be surprised. I hope you learned something here about it. If you have any ideas or suggestions about any of this, about how to make a silicone pad, I think this works really well. I was surprised how easy it was to make this. So, and all you really need is a silicone pad and some silicone caulking. So, give it a try. For those of you that don't like to use sandpaper, there you go. Oh, sorry I called you sandpaper sissies, but if the shoe fits. Anyway, just kidding. If you like this video or if you learned something here, hit that like button. It helps me out, makes me know I'm doing the right thing. Most importantly, though, please come back again because I'm nowhere near done. And quite honestly, I suspect you're not either. So we'll see you again soon, okay?